everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. Today I have another review of some foundations for you. I'm on the search for my holy grail of foundations and also of tinted moisturizers. And I've been testing a number of products recently because if you're my age, you know what a challenge it is to find makeup that actually looks good on our aging skin. While I have yet to find my holy grail, I feel like I'm getting closer and I feel like I'm learning so much from this process. So of the products I tested recently, I did a bunch of tinted moisturizers and BB creams, and I also did some foundations because, you know, some days you just want to throw on a moisturizer or a BB cream and a little powder and run out the door and look fine but not completely made up. And other days or nights you want to do more of a full face foundation and you want your skin to actually look really top notch as best as it can. So I decided to break them up into two separate videos because I'm really looking for two different things. So today's video is about some foundations and I have 4 of them for you today. And I actually had a bit of success. So I'm going to start from worst to best. And the way this video is going to work is I tried each one on video. So I'm going to tell you about the product, you know, what their claims are, then I'm going to show you me applying it and what my first impressions are, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you because, as you know, I wear each of them all day so that I can see how it wears, because I'm not going to tell you to run out and buy a foundation if it doesn't wear all day. If I just put it on and it looks great in the first 5 minutes, well, that's terrific. But the true test is that you go to work or you do your shopping or you do whatever, you want it to look good all day. You don't want to have to be touching up. I guess I should tell you about my skin so that you can determine if these are going to work for your skin. And that's why I say always take a sample, because just because it works for my skin does not necessarily mean it's going to work for your skin and, you know, your skin issues. So here's my skin. I'm 50 years old. I have wrinkles. I have combination skin. I'm using Retin A and vitamin C serum, and these are all sort of harsh and drying on your skin. So while I have combination skin, I also have dry skin. I also have some new redness that's from the irritation from these products in through here. There's a number of issues that I'm trying to deal with. While I really don't think that one foundation or one thing is going to make all of that stuff look better, I want something that makes most of it look better. I really want a natural look. I want it to look like skin. I feel really conspicuous when I wear a makeup that is just too much coverage for me. All right, enough talk. Let's get to the first foundation. Since it's first, as you know, it was not the best one for me. And I'm so sad because I really love this brand. It's by Paula's Choice. She's known as the Cosmetics Cop, and she has a great informative website where you can look up all kinds of products and see what's in them and see what her ratings of them are. And I use a lot of her skincare products, which I love. So I thought, oh great, her foundation is going to be fabulous. So the Best Face Forward Foundation comes in an SPF of 25. It's $14.95 for an ounce, so it's priced like a drugstore foundation. But you can't get it at the drugstore, so you have to pay shipping. I bought it in combination with a bunch of other stuff, so I got free shipping. This only came in 4 shades. And so the one that I chose was the 3rd shade, so the next to the darkest shade. It's a very narrow shade range. If you are tan or have darker skin, there is nothing in this line of foundations that is going to fit you. Well, the reason I selected this one is because it's specifically formulated for combination to oily skin. I don't have overall oily skin, which may be why it didn't work for me. Here's what it said on the website. It's effective for acne breakouts, anti-aging, and wrinkles, and for oily skin. So I was like, oh my God, that's perfect because I have the hormonal acne, I am aging, and I want to do anti-aging things, and it's great for wrinkles. So I thought this will be the perfect one. And now with a higher SPF rating. And I don't necessarily like an SPF in my foundation because I put on a heavy SPF underneath. So that didn't really matter to me. But if you're looking for something with an SPF, this does have a 25. It says, ultralight liquid texture is ideal for normal to very oily skin. Silky, long-lasting matte finish with light to medium coverage. Blends impeccably. Long-wearing formula helps keep skin looking fresh and even. Protects skin with an in-part titanium dioxide SPF 25 sunscreen. Clinically proven non-irritating, 100% fragrance-free, and no added dyes. All right, so that's what they said on the website. Let's go to the video and I'll show you me applying it and give you my first thoughts on it. Color that I got is Best Linen So here is what it looks like in the jar. That's the consistency. It has a nice feel to it. It doesn't feel like it feels like more like a whipped makeup than like a liquid. It doesn't feel like a heavy moisturizer, and it also doesn't feel like one of those super silky silicone-y formulations. Very light coverage, I gotta say, for something that is labeled as a foundation. But let's see if I can build it up and get rid of some of the redness on my chin, and a little more coverage over here. I'm gonna have to put some concealer on these things. It doesn't seem to really blend very easily. Takes a little more work. With this one, maybe fingers is not the best application method. It might need a stippling brush or a sponge to make it really blend terrifically. A first impression, it was kind of hard to blend. There isn't really a lot of coverage, and I feel like the color is a little pale and leaving like a whitish kind of ghostly cast. Over here, as you can see, where as usual I have like some healing pimple marks, they're still very visible, and even though I put on 2 coats, it's kind of streaky in some places, and then it kind of is sitting in my pores in other places, making me have that flesh tone polka dot effect. And right in here in the corners of my nose, it really looks funky in there. But of course that is super close up. Now from back here and looking in my makeup mirror, the finish is actually fine. It's not completely matte, but it is, it's very skin-like. The finish is actually quite nice. It's not shiny, but it's not overly matte either. Since I've been doing it with all the others, I'll do it with this one too. And I feel like the color's a little funky, so the Balance and Brighten will help to like give this a little more color, as I feel like it's a little grayish, whitish, ghostly. So I look human instead of like a, oh, what is it, The Walking Dead zombie. So that's it. I'll wear it all day and let you know how it went. As you saw in that video, the reason that I didn't really love this formula was because it was so very sheer, and it didn't really blend very well. So, but as you know, I wore it all day, and you know that I thought it was streaky, and it gave me the polka dots in the pores, and it didn't do anything for that. But I do have to say, it was very long wearing, and it controlled the oil very well. So it lasted for a good, 8 to 10 hours. It was, still on there. I didn't have any oily breakthrough, and that was great. But it still looked bad. It was still streaky and smeary and weird and sitting in my pores. So that was it on that one. So moving on. The next one I tried was the Hourglass Immaculate Liquid Powder Foundation. Okay, now this one has no SPF in it, which is fine for me, as you know. It's $55 for 1 ounce, and it comes in 16 shades. So this one had quite a good color range, from very, very pale to fairly dark. All right, and this comes in a pump bottle, and I love the pump bottles. Now, I love the idea of this foundation. It is a liquid to powder foundation, so it goes on a liquid, and then it dries to a powder. Here's what it said on the Hourglass website. It says it's a mattifying anti-aging foundation that absorbs oil, camouflages imperfections, and ensures a long-lasting, flawless finish without the need for touch-ups. And that is key for me. I love that. What it does: consider Immaculate your miracle for oily skin. This innovative liquid powder formula delivers an unparalleled matte finish with real longevity that lasts all day. The oil-free and water-resistant foundation goes on smoothly and dries down instantly to a soft velvet finish that is ideal for oily or blemish-prone complexions. What it is formulated without: no parabens, no synthetic fragrances, synthetic dyes, phthalates, GMOs, or triclosan. Let's go to the video and you can see what it looked like and how it applied. And I got a sample at Sephora. And the color that I got it in is natural. Right now, Hourglass recommends applying this with a brush or with your fingertips, and a sponge is not recommended for this for this formulation. So that's good since I like to try everything with just my fingers. Kind of thick, almost whipped up texture. You can see right here how it's got like a little peak, like as though you're whipping up egg whites. So here is a swatch on my finger. I don't think I took very much. I might have to dip in for a little more. Definitely need more. You know, one little fingerful did not go a long way. So it's not really like slippery and spready. Oh my goodness. It has turned my fingers very orange. That's a little worrisome. What the heck is going on there? As long as it doesn't look orange on my face, I guess that's good, but that's a little weird. First impressions are that this applied really nicely. It feels really good on the fingers. It feels really soft and silky and almost baby powdery. And so putting it on with just the fingers was fine. I think it's fine. Up close, it didn't really cover as well as I thought it would. I was kind of surprised by that. I thought it would be a little more medium to full coverage. It doesn't really look, you know, less wrinkly. It actually looks more wrinkly. So that's not great. So let me just come in close and you can see. And as usual, I'll put on the blush. See how it wears for the day. It's supposed to absorb oil all day long and keep me non-shiny, and I'm not supposed to have to touch it up or powder over it or do anything else to it. I'll be back later to let you know. All right, so as you can see there, it went on well with the fingers, but it sets up very quickly, so you do have to work fast. And my recommendation with this is that you would, you know, do one area at a time, not dot it all over like I did. Unfortunately, it does accentuate fine lines and wrinkles. It was fairly long wearing, you know, not as long as some of the others, maybe 6 to 7 hours, and then it was supposed to control my oil all day, and I had a little bit of oily breakthrough in my T-zone later in the day, which I wasn't thrilled about, especially after having to walk around looking kind of mask-like and overly powdery. I mean, I feel like it gave me a more powdery look than even when I do a full powder foundation. It kind of sat on the surface weirdly, which I didn't enjoy. It wasn't that long wearing, you know, and for the price of this stuff, it should really be immaculate. But for the price point of $55, it's just a miss for me. All right, third foundation today is the Giorgio Armani Designer Lift Smooth Firming Foundation. This comes in an SPF 20, and then it has /PA+++, which is more the Asian standard of sun protection, which means that it is broad spectrum. This costs $65 an ounce, and it comes in 13 shades. It has a pump dispenser, and the 13 shades are a fairly narrow color range. There are a lot of good pale tones, but there aren't really that many darker tones. Anyway, here are the claims from the website. It says that it restores up to 10 years of luminosity, firms lines up to 87%, and firms skin by 73% for 12 hours of lifting action. Now those are some pretty big claims. It says it's called the Invisible Facelift. Armani's unique stretching microfill technology drapes the face with an ultra-fine micro-lifting matrix. This elastic matrix seals in a high concentration of exclusive emollients and velvet fillers that immediately stretch, soften, and firm the skin's surface. Oh my God, I was so psyched about this one. Lifting colors. The new Armani Glow is tailor-made with exclusive Prussian blue pearl pigment, giving intense, deep depth and luminosity to revive skin and correct color irregularities while relieving dullness. Soft focus effect creates a youthful glow. Well, for $65 an ounce, it ought to do all that. Okay, so let's go to the video and I'll show you how it applied and what it looked like. I got this in color number 55. I know I've been saying that I'm doing all these with my fingers so that I have, you know, comparing apples to apples, but today my skin is so peely because I put on my glycolic alpha hydroxy acid last night. It's only 5%, but I tell you, the next day my skin is so sluffy and peely that even just putting on my face cream and my SPF, I was getting little fluffy balls at the edges. So I think today I'm going to use my Beauty Blender just so that this doesn't, you know, automatically have a horrible time. I hate to give Giorgio preferential treatment, but I don't know, maybe he deserves it. Now this is a completely different formulation from Maestro that I tried a couple of weeks ago, and it broke me out and I hated it. So I wasn't even going to try another Armani foundation, but this one, the formulation is completely different. It's very thin and runny, running down the back of my hand. So I'm just going to grab a little bit on my Beauty Blender and start applying it this way. It's just so that I don't have to do any rubbing, so I'm just going to be doing the little Beauty Blender pouncing with this. It's supposed to offer, I think, medium but blendable, sheer to medium but blendable coverage. Anyway. There it is. Okay, so that is how it looks. Okay, so my first impressions of this is that it goes on really nicely, even though I did use the sponge. I have rubbed it on the back of my hand and it does blend very easily. It is definitely medium coverage, and you could build it up to full coverage if you want. It's pretty hard to sheer it out, even though it is such a thin formulation. It still is so highly pigmented that it goes on pretty, you know, not thickly, but opaquely, so that it does cover over pretty much everything that's going on your face. My redness is all covered up, all of my age spots are covered up, all of my little, you know, acne healing spots are covered up, so everything's covered. So this is definitely more of a, you know, medium to full coverage foundation. It feels really light. It's been about 10 minutes. I folded a basket of laundry and let it set because it was a little tacky at first. And now that it's set up, it's very dry feeling. It's almost like gone to almost sort of a powdery finish. It does have a little bit of luminosity so that you can see over here it's reflecting light from this side of my face where the light's coming in through the window. I like the finish. It's not doing anything bad for my wrinkles and pores. It looks really nice on all of them. And, you know, while it's not going to make me look like I've had a facelift, it's not heavy, so it doesn't weigh my skin down. I feel like some of the heavier things, I get sort of jowly looking over here because it's like pulling my skin down. Poor skin. Like something that light could pull on it, but it seems to me like it does. So all in all, first impression is I really like this. Let me do the stuff that I normally do, which is powder over it with the Laura Geller, just in my T-zone, because sometimes I get a little oily there, and I'll just do that and just powder up my nose and my forehead. And then we will add the blush like I have been with all the rest, and the powders and things just flow over this and blend very nicely. And here's what it looks like close up. I will be back with the full review to let you know how it wore. As you can see from the video, I really like this one. This, for me, if there was nothing else on the market, might have actually been the one. It does bother me that their claims are so ridiculous, and clearly, you know, it's not going to be like a facelift. I didn't see 87% reduction in fine lines and a 73% increase in firmness. That's kind of kooky. But what I did see is that it did really nice things for my large pores, and it had some really nice coverage. I felt like the color correction was really good, and that it was so pigmented. Even though it was a thin formulation, it felt really light on the skin, but you know, it offered great coverage. It wore fantastically, 8 to 10 hours. I had no oily breakthrough. I didn't have to repowder or redo anything or even think about this all day. It could have given me a designer lift of happiness just because I was so thrilled to be wearing something on my face that I don't have to worry about it. It also contains, just as a side note, bismuth. I know that some people out there have a bismuth, is that how you say it, allergy, and so if you are allergic to that, you should not get this because it may make you a little itchy. So yes, I like this very much, and I probably would have been going back there to get exactly the right color for me and buy it if I hadn't tried this next one, which is half the price, and I liked even better. Can you tell how happy I am? I am thrilled. But here's the funny thing. My favorite last time I did a foundation test was an Estee Lauder product. And guess what? It's Estee Lauder again. I think that Estee Lauder is going to be my go-to brand for foundation. The one that I liked so much last time was the Double Wear Light. And my only problem with that, and the reason that I didn't buy it, is because it only came in 6 shades, and I didn't feel like the shade in that one was quite a perfect match for me. But the one that I tried for this is the Estee Lauder Invisible Fluid Makeup. This is an SPF 15 makeup, so not great on the SPF, but again, fine for me. It costs $35 for 1 ounce, and it comes in 16 shades. And the shade range on this I thought was pretty impressive. It has 16 shades, as I said, broken down into neutral, warm, and cool. And of the 16 colors, there are some that are very, very pale. There's a lot in the middle, but they have some really, really dark shades. Here's what it says about it on their website. It says, "See no makeup, feel no makeup. First ever Intuitone technology guarantees your true-to-life shade and keeps it real in every light. Fresh, flawless, radiant, ultra-light, ultra-breathable, oil-free. It will change how you feel about makeup forever. In long-lasting shades for beautiful skin of every ethnicity." And that, I see, is true. "Lasts all day, controls excess oil, won't clog pores. Shake well with each application for fresh, perfectly blended makeup." This comes in a plastic bottle with a little nozzle so that you're not dumping a ton of it out on your hand. Let's go to the video. I got a little sample of this at the makeup counter. This is in ZWN1. Really have to shake it up. I have all my other stuff on underneath. 2 serums and then a moisturizer and a sunblock. So here's and dab it around and then spread. Most foundation should spread with your fingers and should do a good job spreading with your fingers. Maybe I have unrealistic expectations. I feel like they should just go on. And you shouldn't have to invest in a lot of sponges and brushes and stuff. All right, so putting this on, it certainly did smooth over my face with just my fingers very, very easily. There was no problem blending it. It wasn't streaky. It didn't just, sit in my pores but rub off on the surface. It really kind of evened out my skin tone. I feel like all the red that I have through here and here is now completely gone. I think this is a good color match for me. The finish is really nice. This probably has a fair amount of silicones and dimethicones in it because it does slip over your skin so very nicely. The finish, though, is lovely. I feel like it's not shiny or trying to be dewy, but it's mainly matte with just a little bit of light reflectiveness. You can see here on the top of my cheekbone and up here that it is reflecting a little light, but over here on the side of my face that's away from the light, it really is pretty, matte looking. I feel like it's not accentuating my fine lines and wrinkles, and it's not accentuating my pores. So this is good. As always, we'll have to see how it wears during the day. Same as always, the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten. And I'm just going to I don't really even think this needs a mattifying powder like so many of them do, but I'm just going to put this over anyway, just so that we have consistency. And the blush that I've been using for all of these as well, which is the Milani Baked Blush in Dolce Pink. And I am ready to go for the day and see how this wears. So this being the final product, you know that this is my favorite of these 4 that I tested, and I think the favorite out of everything that I've tested over the 4 or 5 videos that I've done, testing, powders, liquids, high-end drugstore, and tinted moisturizers, BB creams. Out of everything that I've tested, I think this is my favorite, bordering on Holy Grail product. Now, I don't think that this color is a perfect match for me, so I may actually be going back to the store this afternoon. I have to do a little birthday shopping with my daughter, and I think I might buy this. But I do want to see if there's a color that is slightly better. This is very highly pigmented, but it's also very thin and light, and that's what I love most about it, is that, like I said in the beginning, can put this on with my fingers, and it looks fabulous. I did not put on a primer. I did not use a brush or a sponge to, help it at all. and it goes on great. And that for me is what I'm looking for. I am like easy peasy, just want to slap it on there and have it look good. And that this actually does that is what makes it the holy grail for me. Now, aside from that, it's super long wearing. This wore 8 to 10 hours. Every time I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh, it still looks good. Like, it's such a pleasant surprise for me to, pass by a mirror later in the day and think, wow, this still looks good. I had no oily breakthrough. I feel like it, just glides over my skin and covers over everything that I want to cover while not settling in my pores and not accentuating my fine lines and wrinkles. This, I feel, actually makes my skin look better than it actually is, which I find it hard to believe that it is so hard to find something that does that. Even when I look in my 15x mirror, up close at my forehead here where I feel like I often look like I have orange peel skin up there, this does not give me the orange peel skin. So today I'm wearing it just like I did in the video with the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten as a setting powder, and then with that Milani blush over. So if you have similar skin to me, this could work out for you. And so like I said, being 50, it's so hard to find something that works. But that doesn't mean that the testing is over, because you guys always write in the comments of things that you love, and it always makes me think, oh my gosh, I have to run out and try that one. I will be testing more, but probably at a slower pace, since now I will have something in my cabinet that I can actually go to, feel confident in. And I feel like that's the main thing about makeup. You want to put it on, and it should help you to feel confident about your look. Why spend the money on it if it doesn't? My advice is always get a sample if you can and test it out. So for today, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Take care.